He has spoken on the topics faith, family and freedom in Cuba, Belgium, Brazil, Congo, UK and all over the USA to crowds from 14 to 40,000. International leadership speaker, trainer and coach. Author of Learn to Raw Leadership, Attitude Hack, Live a More Excellent Life, 5 Battle Strategies of a Victorious Warrior. 2021 President's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Founding partner of the John Maxwell team. Toastmaster International Speech Competition semi-finalist. Founder of Tell It Like It Is TV, ThatGuyRocks.com and ThatGuySpeaks.com. Creator of Story Power TV, Transforming Grace TV, and Leading Leaders Podcast. Producer of 4 TV programs and podcasts for Liftable TV and World Trumpet Television as well as multiple social media channels. Please help me welcome J. Lauren Norris.
I would like to be able to say that whatever's been going on in your life in the last 2 weeks, well, it's just you. I'd like to be able to say that all the craziness that's been going on in my life in the last 2 weeks, that's just me. But if I said that, I'd be lying, and we both know it. That's what I want to talk about in this episode of Leading Leaders.
Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.
I'm J. Lauren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, and it really does seem like when we look at our life and the things that are going on, the relationships, the changes, the transitions, that we can look at it and go, I'm glad that everybody's life is not as topsy-turvy as mine, not as crazy as mine, not as radically different from day to day. Now I know I have friends who've retired. And they get up every day and maybe they go for a walk. Maybe they sit by the poolside or the lakeside or the beach or the country or on a mountain. And they take in the day and they gaze and they got nothing left to do because they've already done everything they need to do for their life. Now they're just chilling till it's over. Or maybe they got a hobby. I know there are some people like that. Then there are those people like an Elon Musk who has 19 jobs and 5 companies to run and 7 or 8,000 employees, and all of these people who look up to him and count on him, and the news media pulling on him, and the political spectrum pulling on him, and his own opinions pulling on him, and apparently aliens and Neuralink and God knows what else. I think you got the revelation that hit me the other night, a 3-hour drive. I was listening to a 3-star general who said he just retired after 33 years in the military. And I thought, I did 5, but that was 30 years ago. In fact, September the 3rd, I'll celebrate my 30th wedding anniversary. I have done something for 30 years consistently. I mean, it's consistent as marriage can be because, it's different every day. But the idea that all of us kind of fall in our own little leadership oasis, this utopia that once we've gotten into the rhythm of things, it all just kind of happens like chugging along on a train, right? That we don't somehow have people in the periphery of our lives making demands of us, who have expectations of us, whether it's the IRS or it's your bank or it's the changes in the world finance system. I know you look at those and go, they don't affect me. Well, unless you have a 401k. If you have a retirement fund somewhere and you're looking at that going, only X number of years left before I get to buy my RV, buy my lake house, buy my mountain cabin, and escape it all to my utopia. And I'll have all this money in the bank and it will all be secured. And no, ask Venezuela. Ask Cuba. Ask India. It happened to them just a few years ago. Everything they had in the bank liquidated, became the government's money. Converted from cash to some other form. And now the valuation of it changes by the day. Kind of like gas prices. You imagine if you woke up and You went to bed with $500,000 in the bank in your retirement account after 25 years of paying into it. And the next day, kind of like a gas price, it went from $1.89 to $2.19 to $12. I watched this last week. I watched two gas stations on the same block across the street from each other. On the same block, same side of the main road. One of them, their gas price stayed at $3.19 the entire time. The other one went from $2.89 to $2.90 to $2.89 to $2.93 to $2.89 to $2.99 to $2.89 to $2.99 to $3.09 over a 6-day period. Well, what if your 401k did that? And not by the pennies, but it was $500,000, and then it was $200,000. Then it was $600,000. Well, no, it was $500,000. Then it was $470,000, but it was close. What if every day you woke up, that level of ambiguity was there? Well, it's coming. Well, what if you woke up every day and the demands on you, the people who had the right to make demands on you, had new demands than they had when you went to bed? The expectations are different now than they were 20 minutes ago. Things change. It happens. See, when you're in the military, you kind of expect that military life. When you're a firefighter, yes, I was a firefighter in the military. So the life of ambiguity, when you're on call, you are on call. Your job isn't what you're doing right now. It's what you will be doing when there's a fire, when there's an incident, when there's a disaster, when there's an emergency, and you drop everything. You abandon your family, you abandon your hobbies, you drop your golf clubs on the course, you jump in the fire truck and you go do your thing. Because that's what you're paid for. That's what you're made for. That's who you are. That's what you do. And when you have that kind of job in law enforcement or a first responder of any sort, medical technician, a nurse in the ER or the OR, that's what you do. That's what you expect. But see, many of us don't live that life anymore as a first responder. We don't suspect that at a moment's notice that life is going to change and we have to drop everything that we're doing and move on to the next thing and move back to where we were before, to go back to the thing we've been doing before. And yet, as much as we like to think that ambiguous, radical transformation, that's for the life of the first responders. That's for the life of FEMA and the disaster preparedness people. That hurricane, I don't live in a hurricane zone. Why am I worried about a hurricane? But it's not just the natural disasters. It's not just the car accidents and the house fires. It's life. We like to think those are isolated incidences, that the calamity that happened in my life last month, or the calamity that happened in your life last week, or the calamity that's going to happen in our lives today, that it's an isolated incident, and it's not. It's endemic of this life we call human. To be on this earth is to be in entropy, in a chaotic, unpredictable state, constantly. And while that's true, it is like 5,000 cogs interacting with each other, where every one of those cogs, although it's impacting and sometimes synchronized and some desynchronized with your life, with your expectations, with your plans. How dare you have plans? While all those things are true, it's also true that none of it's controllable by you or by me. And sometimes that cog that you're associated with 2 or 3 steps away, it is all out of balance and all out of whack. And when it goes out of whack, the demands that it places on those associated with you, they change the relationship to you. And yet the demands don't change. The expectations don't change. Sometimes they just get elevated. They get pushed to a higher level of the tyranny of the urgent. There's more demand on you as a leader today than there was 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, 2 decades ago. And let me just tell you something. As we're drawing closer to the end of 2024, this is not going to be we're going to let the foot off the throttle and coast for a while, kind of a year. No, all the indications are that 2024 is going to get more and more chaotic as the year goes on. I mean, we're in an election year in the U.S., and that's just the start of it. If I remember right, the number is somewhere around 50 other nations are in the same kind of major turning point election cycle over the next 20 months. That's a big deal. That's huge. Who's going to be in charge? What kind of worldview will they have? How will our world change as a result? See, nobody really knows the answer to that. And all these wheels and all these cogs, they're all associated with each other, and they're all putting pressure on one another, and they're all demanding of each other something, some response. And when you don't respond, when you dismiss, when you ignore, when you step aside, when you try to just keep up with your own life, they see that as a moral failure of some sort. When you, as a leader, you're not engaged in every aspect of somebody else's life. You don't know all the problems they're dealing with, all the discriminations they face, all the pains and the agonies of their own personal lives, the drama, the baby mama drama. If you as a leader are not engaged in those things, then surely you're a failure. You have failed them morally to not care enough to be involved in the deepest aspects of their life. What happens when you live your life that way? See, in the last couple of weeks, I've been in one of those relationships where the expectations are high, the response time is short, the expectations of response, not just when, but how and what will the outcome and the results be. Those are pretty demanding as well. And it's in one sliver of one area of one aspect of my life. But it's not just one person that has that same level of expectation, because in that sliver of that arena of my life, that one set of expectations is mirrored by another sliver of another arena of my life where the same level of demands and expectations. And oh, by the way, as a leadership coach, as a communications coach, it seems like that series of cogs that are directly related to each other, spinning in opposite directions, they're not just my cohorts. They're not just other coaches that I work with. They're not just the clients that I serve on the outside. They're my one-on-one coaching clients. See, I'm expected as a leader to understand all the drama going on in their lives and all the crises going on in their lives and all the things in their life that change times and meetings and schedules. And I expected to hop aside, drop what I'm doing, and meet the expectation of my client, of my coaching client, or my peer coaches, or my outside clients. I stop what you're doing. I need you to do this now. I need an invoice in the next hour. Okay, well, so I sent the contract, I sent the invoice, I sent that stuff months ago. Yeah, well, I can't find it. I need it now. If you want me to submit this, if you expect to get paid, then I need the invoice. I need it now. Okay, well, I'm nowhere near a computer. I don't have Wi-Fi where I'm at. I barely have cell service where I'm at, but I will do what I can to get you the contract. Great, but if you don't give me the contract in the next 10 minutes, you probably won't get paid when it's time to do the event. How's that fair? It's not. But it's endemic to life. As a leader, as a business owner, as a servant to others, there's not a moment of utopia and oasis. There's not a moment of escape where, like retirement, you just get to put your feet up and look at it and go, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So what? The popcorn's burning in the microwave. I'm outside. I can't smell it. I'm watching the birds. I'm watching the fish play in the lake. I don't care. See, that in the leadership world, in the real life, there's very little of that moment. And the difference between the two can kill you. Literally. The stress, the heart attack, the brain aneurysms, these are not rare occurrences. These are common occurrences for people who don't learn to manage the balance and the stress, who let those little cogs of life push on us. A mistake made by somebody over here comes across here. I know of a friend who lost a friend in an accident. They lost a friend in an accident who was actually delivering an RV to them. They were driving cross country and on the highway, cruising along, doing the right thing, following the speed limit, doing everything properly, everything perfectly. When a lady dropped her cell phone, reached in the floor to pick it up, swerved into a vehicle, pushed it into the oncoming lane, caused a collision, which killed a guy who was doing absolutely nothing wrong. What could he have done differently? Take her cell phone away? See, these cogs that seem so outside our purview, they're easily outside our control. Nothing we can do about them. I mean, on election day we can vote, but can we control the machinations that make the votes count or make the votes show up or make the votes valid? No, that's not our purview. We do our part. We do the best we can. We hope for the best. We know what we want. But I mean, we'll get it. But see, this is the life we all live. While I was on the road in the Atlanta area, I got a phone call at 11 o'clock at night. They said, hey, hospice nurse says your mom might have 3 days. I'm a long way from home. It's really hard to get home to do anything about it, to say goodbye. Didn't matter, even if I jumped on the road right then, because by noon the next day, I got the call that she was already gone. So my sisters are at home dealing with all the aftermath of that. This is another set of cogs that are spinning, another set of demands, another set of expectations, another set of, well, what if we, and now we have to, and then this, and so this list goes on, and we have to set dates, and then we have employers who are like, no, you can't do it on that date. I'm going on vacation. Sorry. Tough luck for you. Sorry, what? Your vacation supersedes my mother's funeral? That's disappointing. I mean, I know you already had it planned out and all that, but it's not like I planned my mother's death. I didn't pick the timing. If I had, it'd be like 80 years from now, after I'm long gone. Too bad. Tough. So sad. So we reschedule. Not the death, but at least the memorial service. So we know what the date is of that. We push it out as far as we can. We get back on the road. We go do something else. And in the middle of doing something else, I get the call from my wife that our puppy, who's been with us for 8 or 9 years, is having multiple seizures and can't do anything for him. He's walking into walls. He's walking into traffic. He's aggressive. It's time for him to go home too. So in a period of 2 weeks, while I'm gone, while I'm doing other things, while I'm serving my clients, while I'm meeting expectations, while I'm living up to demands, I still have coaching calls. In fact, while I'm on the call receiving the knowledge that my mother has drawn her last, they're checking her pulse as we speak. My client texts me and says, I'm on the Zoom call. Where are you? I'm sorry. I'm learning that my mom just died. I'm probably not going to be of great value to you on this Zoom call. It's not a slight to my client. They didn't know that. They couldn't have known that. I just found out myself. But the reality is, in this life of entropy that we live, this out of control chaos, this unpredictability of our lives, if you let all the demands and the expectations of leadership, of business running, of entrepreneurialism, of capitalism, of politics, of world finance, of relationships and other people's drama, if you let it get to you, it will destroy you from the inside out. It will eat you up. It will eat your gut up. Your teeth will fall out. Your brain will go crazy, turn to mush, maybe turn to strokes, maybe turn to heart problems and blood pressure problems and all kinds of other chronic diseases, according to Dr. Caroline Leaf. But you get to choose. And so I'm going to give you permission. I'm going to give you permission as a leader to do something that maybe you haven't done in a while. want you to think back to the days of all the old Lucille Ball and the other old black and white television shows where you would see the operators and they would be pulling the cables and moving them from one place to the other. And as they're moving these cables around, they're connecting this person to that person, et cetera, et cetera. And at the end of their shift, they would hang up their headphones and they would pull all the cables out that they had connected and just lay them on the table. And sometimes that's what you need to do. You need to disconnect. Put your social device in a drawer. Take your shoes off and find some fresh green grass. Pull up a lawn chair and a glass of iced tea. Count the clouds for a while. Just breathe. Because in the end, the world is not going to stop and wait. You know what I found out? Only the bill collectors care that my mother is gone. My sister told me so. They've had one bill they've been trying to resolve for years. They paid it off. They have the proof. They've tried to close the account. They won't close the account till my mother says so. She has dementia. Had dementia. She's in perfect health now. She had dementia. She didn't know her name. Couldn't count her toes. But they were still billing her for a service she couldn't ever use. Those two words, she's deceased, stopped those calls. Everybody else doesn't really care. Life goes on. The people that pull out in front of you at a stop sign because your eyes are filled with tears and you're still too emotional to make a decision, they don't care. The ones who fly around you on the highway, putting your life at risk with things hanging out their windows and parts falling off their car and tires thumping alongside you, they don't care. The ones that are late for work or too early for work or don't have a job, they got nothing else to do but eat Cheetos, they don't care. That client who has demands of you because you have a contract, they have expectations, they don't care. So whatever the crisis is that's in your own life, whatever the drama is that you're dealing with, the passing of a loved one, the loss of a pet, just having a bad day, I give you permission to breathe. Step back. Step out for a minute. The world's not going to come to a stop. It's not going to come to an end. It won't wait for you. Nobody else cares about your drama. They just expect you to care about theirs. So just step out for a minute. Take a break. Prayer time, meditation, iced tea time, whatever you're going to call it. Unplug. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Their demands will still be there when you get done, or they will find somebody else to get it done. But the world won't come to an end. Maybe you have to find a new client, or they have to find some grace. But before you let it destroy you, take a break. I give you permission to breathe. I'm J. Lauren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.
Lauren is a master teacher on storytelling, and I learned so much. I'm really going to have to sit down and go back through everything, and I think I might have to have some more coffees with Lauren, but it was totally worth my time, and I really highly recommend it if you're looking to grow your ministry, grow your business, grow your career. Lauren will serve you well.